Do you know him by any other name other than Montana Barronette? Tana. And I'm showing you what's been marked as Government Exhibit P2 on your monitor. Do you recognize that individual? Yes. Who's that? Terrell. Do you know Terrell by any other names? Rel. Do you know if Mr. Barronette and Terrell have any type of relationship? Yeah, brothers. How long have you known these two individuals? Long, probably about 16, 17 years. Do you know where they grew up? Same area, Cary and Harlem, Cary and Landville. In the Sandtown area? Yes. Are they younger than you, older than you, about the same age? Younger. About how much younger, if you know? A couple years. Did you ever know either of them to be involved in drug trafficking? Yes. And how do you know that they were involved in drug trafficking? Because they was involved in drug trafficking with me. About what time period are we talking about here? 08, 09? Did you have a drug shop at that time? Yes. Where was that? Yes. Where was that drug shop located? Cary and Landvale, Cary and Harlem. Was it your drug shop or were you working at it? I was working with someone with it. Who's that? Bub, Brandon Littlejohn. So I'm going to show you what's been marked as Government's Exhibit P16. Can you take a look at that photo and tell me if you recognize that individual? Yes. Who is that? Brandon Littlejohn. This is P16. You said this is Brandon Littlejohn? Yes. And you said you were working with Mr. Littlejohn at the drug shop? Yes. Okay, what type of drugs were you selling? Heroin. And was Mr. Barronette and Terrell working with you at that time? Not Barronette. Terrell here and there, in and out. Barronette came a little later, but not a lot at that time. All right, well, let's start with Terrell. About when did he start working in that drug shop? 08. And what was his role? Just distribution, hand to hand. All right, let me step back for just a minute. So this is your drug shop, right? Yes. You and Mr. Littlejohn? Yes. Can you kind of describe to the jurors how a drug shop runs? Like, what are the different roles and responsibilities, how it worked? Like, you got cornermen, people that watch the corner, you got people that direct traffic, and you got, like, people who run the packs and stuff like that. What do you call the people that run the packs? Pack runners. And how about the people that actually distribute the packs? Hitters. And I guess I should have asked you first, what's a pack? Like, the quantity, the amount, how many, like, pills are in a package. Okay, so how are, you described it a little bit, but how are the drugs packaged? Gel caps. Okay, and you said it was heroin, right? Yes. How many capsules of heroin are typically in a pack? 25 to 50. And you said that initially in 2008, Raul was doing what at the drug shop? Hitting. Okay, so he was distributing the drugs. Yes. And when did Mr. Barronette start working in the drug shop? Probably like 09 area. And what was his role when he started working at the drug shop? Same thing. Do you recall about how old Mr. Barronette was at the time? Probably about 13, 14. Who else was working at the drug shop? A few people. Me, him, Bub, Roach. Like, I'm not sure. Probably, I think Taurus was involved a little bit in and out. Okay, you mentioned Taurus. I'm putting up Government's Exhibit P3. Do you recognize that individual? Yes. Who's that? Taurus. On a given day, how much heroin were you selling out of that shop? Probably about 700, 800. And how much heroin is in each one of those pills, do you know? No, not really. Because the type of machines or how you use it, we never weigh it. We just, whatever the cap hold. Okay, well, tell us about that process. So how do you get the drugs into the caps? Either with a quick cap machine or just tap the gel cap on top of the pile of heroin on the powder. So you get the powder in a pile and put the cap on top? Yes. And what's the quick cap trays that you mentioned? What's that? You sit the caps in there and you just sift the powder on top of the tray and then fill the caps up. But you don't take the time to weigh it? No. How come? It takes too much time. How much would you sell each one of those gel caps of heroin for? $10. When you're packaging up the heroin, is it just heroin or do you put anything else in it? Quinine. Quinine bonita. It's like a cut we use. You mentioned quinine. What was the other thing you mentioned? Bonita. Bonita? Yes. Those are both cutting agents? Yes. Going back to the government's Exhibit P3, I think you called him Torres? Yes. What was he doing at the shop? More so hanging around, probably hitting here and there. You said probably, do you know? Like here and there, just in and out. Do you have any relationship with this individual that you identified as Torres? Yes. What's your relationship? That's my cousin. Do you know his actual name? Torres Tillman. The heroin that you were selling at that shop, did it have a name if you remember? Yeah, Sweet Dreams. Just going back for a moment in terms of how the shop operates, do the hitters hold onto all the packs while they're doing it? No. You said that there's a pack runner, right? Yeah. If the runner doesn't have it, where are the drugs? Stashed where the runner go get them from, wherever he got them stashed at. What are some of the different places you use as a stash? Vacant houses, cars, stuff like that. Are you familiar with the term double O's or 06s or 06s? Double O's. It's the size of the gel cap. And what does that mean? You got single O's, you got double O's, you got triple O's. It's the size. The single is the smallest and triples being the largest. Okay, so the actual physical gel cap can come in 3 different sizes? Yeah, more, but they like the main 3. Okay. How long did you work with, or let me rephrase that. How long did Terrell, Mr. Barronette, and Mr. Tillman work with you at that drug shop? Not long. Objection. May we approach, Your Honor? All right. Objection? Yes, Your Honor. The first time they asked him about Mr. Tillman, the witness said he wasn't even sure he was there. The second time they asked him, he said, I don't know what he was doing. He was in and out, hanging around. And he wasn't sure if he was even selling drugs, but he might have been. Now the question, which is leading, is, how long was he working for the drug shop? That's not what the witness said. Okay, just rephrase the question. Okay. If you'll just rephrase that question, Mr. Gardner. Yes, Your Honor. You mentioned that both Terrell and Mr. Barronette were hitters at the shop or distributors at the shop. Is that right? Yes. About how long did they work at the shop? Not long, because they migrated and started doing something else. Okay. And you mentioned that Mr. Tillman was in and out of the drug shop. Is that right? Yes. Over what period of time did that occur? Like sparingly, because he just come around here and there. So he was like, some days he wasn't out there every day like we was. Like he had other things he must have been doing. He would just pop up here and there. Is that over a period of weeks? Yeah, probably. Months? About weeks or months. Okay, so you said that Mr. Barronette and Terrell went and did something else. Is that right? Yes. Do you know what they went to go do? They started another shop. Where was that shop located? Same location. Did you continue to work with Mr. Littlejohn? Yeah, for a little bit. Did you stay selling in the same location? No, we moved a couple times. Where did you go? Bennett Place in Schroeder. What neighborhood is that in? It's still the same area, about 4 blocks over, Harlem and Carrollton, Harlem and Edmondson Avenue, which is just a block over. So you're moving kind of from one block to another? Yeah. Within Sandtown? Yes. But Mr. Barronette and Terrell stayed at the same location that you had been selling at? Yes. Did they take over that drug shop? I mean, yes, they had it. Who else was working at? Let me back that up for a second. You have another drug shop that's open and you're working. Is that right? Yes. Did you ever go back to where the old drug shop was, where you were working with Mr. Barronette and Mr. Terrell? Back and forth. It was still the same shop. It just, we move. We move locations, which we do a lot. We might wind up back right there, but not for long, just a couple days. Who, other than Terrell and Mr. Barronette, who else was working at their drug shop? Taurus. That's about it for right that I can remember now. Who was working at your drug shop other than you and Mr. Littlejohn? Me, Roach, Brandon Littlejohn, Guy, and like just miscellaneous people. People would come in and out? Yeah. Okay. Do you know Guy's last name? No. Why did you move locations? Because it was like too much stuff going on and people knew that we was hanging right there. So we like started to move around. When you say too much going on, was that in relation to Mr. Littlejohn or something else? Yes. Okay. What was going on with Mr. Littlejohn? Kidnapping, stuff like that.